Hi guys, I'm Courtney Kanice. I'm here at the University of Wisconsin-River Falls as a senior, double majoring in business marketing and communication studies, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about marketing management. But first, I want to get you guys thinking here. If I were to go around the room and ask each and every one of you, what's one thing that your boss does that just is your pet peeve, or that you just really despise that they do? Would it have something to do with micromanaging maybe, or that they're not as educated as you think they should be for their role, or that they don't keep you in the loop around what's going on with the company? Okay, so what's really this TED Talk about? Well, I want to set the foundation up for you to not just be a good leader, but a great leader. And we'll talk about some key concepts quickly here. But what I really want to get to is talking about how technology is going to implement in the future for marketing managers. And although those key roles are crucial, but really seeing the trends and the differences in how we can prepare better for that. So first, to just talk about leading through leaders is a big key concept to make sure that we're taking our hands off a little and we're making sure that they're getting their experiences in and developing. We're in a management role for a reason, and we have that expectation to develop the people around us and utilize that. So you might be a little scary initially, but I promise it's worth it. In the long run, they're really gonna be able to flourish after you're able to take your hands off and make sure you're guiding them but not giving them the answers. So I want to talk about accountability. Everybody takes pride in what they do, and so giving them that ability to make their own choices and to follow their own intuitive designs or their thoughts really installs that accountability aspect, and that's going to get the team buy-in from your group to ultimately reach the goals and the aspirations that you're looking for. And so looking at also communication as a huge role, your expectations, making sure that you have those out there, and even if you have to tell them how to reach them, but no one wants to come to work and suck or do bad, at least we hope so. And so really, if someone isn't understanding, making sure we're seeking for that understanding and putting ourselves in their shoes so we can get everybody on board and ultimately reaching the goals again that we're looking for. Recognition. Let's put this on the list every day, you guys. People want to know that they're contributing well and they're doing a good job to their company, and so making sure that you're recognizing them again, setting that environment and atmosphere, showing that this is what you're looking for in an employee, and makes people want to do better as well. So I'll lastly want to talk for communication wise anyways, for having a good attitude. Again, this is going to play into what you want your team to look like, or what you want your department to look like. It all starts with you. So making sure that you have that good atmosphere, putting your best foot forward all the time, and being someone that people can approach and feel like they are open to communicate with you and ask questions. So lastly, I want to talk about global knowledge. Sometimes this can be difficult based on what all your job entails, but not knowing everything always is where it comes into part of prioritizing what really matters, but also using your leaders and your team members. They're there for a reason. They do that job every day. They're good at it, and so utilize them. And again, setting that up for success, showing that if you can ask questions, they can ask questions, you're approachable, and we're all inclusive community that helps each other. So now going to secondary education, or secondary research that I conducted to really look at, again, the marketing aspect of how technology is changing. I want to look more into the broader aspect of marketing department, and then we'll talk later on in a management aspect. But first, I want to talk about Douglas Carr. He looked up some information. It's a little older, back in 2014, but I think some of the information he found was crucial, and it's still very interesting to see how much things has picked up even since then, but really how big they were back almost 3 years ago. And so looking at mobile shaping, 46% had mobile versions of websites already, and 30% plan on having them the next year. 45% had apps already, and 31% for the next year. 32% had message campaigns, and 25 mobile ads. And then on top of that, social media. So 66% of companies already had and was running their own media. 59% was able to connect to customers through microblogging, kind of like Twitter. And this is big. 45% purchased social media ads. So again, 3 years ago, they were still involved in this, and now even more than ever. So really looking at that mobile coming into a big aspect, especially seeing that back then 91% of people had cell phones, and of that 56 of them were smartphones. So really the projection of mobile taking over even desktop. So being ready for that big increase here. He also talks about chief marketing officers, same thing as management or directors, marketing directors, being a key position and really determining the strategy and success of the company. So through this is really like utilizing the data that companies gather. It's a powerful decision tool as we can look into consumer insight and analyze the data of what they're using. In 2020, they have projected of 40,000 exabytes, and if you don't know how much that is, watching about 28 trillion movies is the same data. And again, just helping that consumer insight. So that's a lot coming that people are going to be able to utilize to really see that customer engagement and insight of how they're shopping and what they're doing. The other aspect I really liked that he gathered was marketing directors, how they felt unprepared. So learning from their mistakes hopefully can set you up to succeed in the future and be prepared. And so 71% wasn't ready for the data explosion, 68% social media population, 65% the growth of channel and device choice, and 56% the customer collection and influence. And again, coming up even here in this next year, 2017, they projected that CMOs are going to be using more IT than even CIOs. And so not taking away the marketing department by any means, but really moving in that aspect of marketing data analysis. And so being able to adjust with that. And then moving on to Tyler Douglas's article on 4 predictions of the future marketing technology. I really just want to touch on 2 of these briefly here. One being consumer privacy and consent will be a bigger deal. And so we just talked about how much we're going to be really utilizing that customer insight, but being prepared that this is going to be something that's going to raise concern, as 91% of consumers already believe that companies shouldn't be able to do this. And then with leading to business leaders and consumers demanding more authenticity. So always putting our best foot forward and being as transparent as we can as a company is going to be important, as they see that marketing technology tends to seem like it's dehumanizing and affecting brand consumer relationship, which is not good. So how can we get around this? Really embracing the emotional connection strategy across the organization. So looking deeper in the consumer insight and using your analytical capabilities, but ultimately it's going to be the managerial commitment that across overall the organization to really implement that new way of thinking. And then to move on to just how important we have a source from smartinsight.com that really talks about how important it is to have your entire team have that basic understanding of IT and technology. Again, with things changing so fast, you really need to have that basic understanding so people are more versatile and opens up communication lines better, that everybody, again, can do so many different things to keep up with the increase in not just the marketing department, but with all the new technology aspect of it. And so they also touch point on that digital marketing is really becoming a huge thing, and to really forecast the future, be proactive is going to be a very important thing, as innovation is really a huge aspect to marketing in general. So that, like, whether it's the wearable technology, virtual reality stuff, the drones coming out, again, always thinking ahead. And 80% is projected to be an increase in spending for marketing departments, so that'll be nice, but definitely for a reason. And then referencing Forbes, they have 10 focuses, but I really just want to talk about 6 of these. with mobile being the center of marketing coming up, and then again being that transparency, brand, consumer relations. So walk the walk, be genuine, being that company that people think you are is going to be important, and you're going to be rewarded for that. Good content they still project is always going to be necessary. And then user generated. So what that means is that you can say you're an awesome company, but again, if online reviews and blogs and social media are saying elsewhere, consumers are going to see that. And then brands focusing on millennials really need to make sure that they're seeing the new target market coming up as the millennials are growing old now. In the future. So lastly, I just want to touch base on data-driven marketing. It's going to be more refined, and again, you're going to be rewarded for focusing on like the relationships and not being so intrusive with gathering information of consumers. And so now from a managerial aspect of it, strategy and businesses talk about implementing software databases. This is going to help make decisions for people more down the corporate ladder because they're going to have so much ability to reach out to reach that information that they need. However, it also opens up more accessibility to communication with managers, which is important as well. You can utilize this for communication and not have to physically see it, but be able to see exactly what's getting done, who needs help, and what your next moves can be. And then Andrew Meyer's another article gathered was important to be aware and understand the benefits and limitations of new technology coming. So ultimately, you have a huge role to decide whether this is beneficial for your company or not. And for example, whether it's getting new efficient technology or equipment if your company can afford it, and again creating the plan so that everybody's on the same communication line of what's new and what's coming, with hopefully that software is a big avenue. And with that technology, it also lessens those tedious office stuff that it's doing and keeps it organizational with all the new equipment or all the new technology coming in. Again, it has the ability to assign tasks and having the accurate log of what's done, again, so you can just see and be able to work a little faster instead of that constant check-in to see where people are at. So lastly, I just really want to talk about how big communication is a vital part of success, and to go back to those key concepts that we talked in the beginning, but also with this custom software equipment that could be implemented. Not only is it making data more transmittable, but also that bigger scope so that you can have those conversations wherever, whenever, and not so much of, again, limiting yourself to being in the office or when you're traveling or something like that. So really wanting to talk about, again, overall, I know this is a fast little speech, but showing that not just settling to be a good leader, but a great leader in corporates, that you need to have that best foot forward and wanting to really increase people's development, and again, the accountability and expectations that are there, creating that inclusive environment for people to excel is really going to get that buy-in from your team and ultimately what you're looking for in your company or corporation. And so again, you're the face of it, so being able to answer those questions and set on a good attitude and face for the company is crucial. So now with technology, being able to be strategic and updated with technology, welcome this is coming, and to adapt and run with it, to be proactive, forecast trends is important, as innovation is crucial, and being able to implement that computer system just allows for excellent communication lines and ability to assign tasks and manage better. Again, technology allows you to be innovative, especially now that the outreach can be globally, and that also comes with more competition and needing managers to have that higher level thinking so that they're not getting overrun by all the new technology changes. And so I hope you're able to kind of gather some insight for the future here, to be prepared and planned out, and feel that you're confident in ways that you can better lead your team. Good luck.